It was a chilling autumn evening when I first laid eyes on Hollow House. Its crumbling facade loomed ominously in the dying light, surrounded by an eerie silence that sent shivers down my spine. I had inherited this decrepit mansion from a distant relative, a place I had never known existed until that fateful day. As I stepped through the creaking front door, a musty odor assaulted my senses, and the air seemed heavy with a history I couldn't comprehend. The walls bore the scars of time, peeling wallpaper revealing the ghosts of a past that had long been forgotten. I felt an inexplicable sense of dread creeping over me, but I couldn't turn back now. Night fell swiftly, and as darkness engulfed Hollow House, the atmosphere grew unbearable. Strange noises echoed through the empty halls, footsteps that weren't mine, whispers that couldn't be real. My heart raced, and every instinct screamed at me to flee, but I was bound by the responsibility of inheritance. One night, as I lay in the creaking bed, an icy hand brushed my cheek. My breath caught in my throat, and I turned to see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of the bed. Its hollow eyes bore into mine, and an otherworldly dread washed over me. I was paralyzed, unable to move or scream. The figure leaned in, and a voice, as cold as death itself, whispered in my ear, "You belong to this house now." From that moment on, the horrors of Hollow House intensified. Unseen hands reached out to grab me in the darkness, and eerie apparitions haunted my every step. Sleep became a distant memory as terror gripped me day and night. Desperation led me to seek help from paranormal experts, but their investigations only deepened the mystery. They claimed that the house was a gateway to the afterlife, a place where lost souls wandered, seeking retribution for their untimely deaths. I was trapped in a nightmare, and there was no escape. Months turned into years, and I grew gaunt and hollow, my sanity slipping away with every passing day. The malevolent presence in Hollow House tormented me relentlessly. It knew my fears, my weaknesses, and it exploited them mercilessly. One fateful night, as the full moon bathed the house in an eerie glow, I made a decision. I couldn't live like this any longer. I gathered every ounce of courage I had left and confronted the entity. With a trembling voice, I demanded to know what it wanted. The figure, still shrouded in shadow, whispered, "Release me." It revealed a tragic tale of betrayal and injustice, a story of a soul wronged in life and doomed to suffer in death. I realized that the only way to end the torment was to help this tortured spirit find peace. With the guidance of a local priest, I conducted a solemn ritual to free the trapped soul. As the incantations echoed through the house, I felt an overwhelming surge of emotions, a mixture of fear, sorrow, and relief. The spirit's presence faded, and the house grew still. Hollow House was finally at peace, but I would forever bear the scars of that harrowing experience. I sold the mansion and moved far away, hoping to leave the horrors behind. Yet the memories of that dreadful place would haunt my dreams for the rest of my days, a constant reminder of the price I paid to uncover its secrets. The haunting of Hollow House had come to an end, but the scars on my soul would never fade. In the quiet moments of my life, I still hear the faint echoes of that terrible night, and I wonder if the spirit found the peace it so desperately sought, or if it lingers, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to cross its path. As I carry the weight of Hollow House's history with me, I can't help but wonder if the spirits of the past are truly gone, or if they remain, hidden in the shadows, biding their time until they can once again lay claim to their haunted home. The Whispering Woods was a place steeped in legend and feared by all who lived in the nearby village. I had always been curious about the ancient forest, and as an adventurous soul, I couldn't resist the allure of its dark and tangled depths. Little did I know that my curiosity would lead me to a chilling encounter that would forever haunt my dreams. One crisp autumn morning, I ventured into the heart of the woods, the vibrant colors of the falling leaves creating a kaleidoscope of beauty above me. The air was still, and a heavy silence blanketed the forest like a shroud. But I pressed on, determined to uncover the mysteries hidden within the Whispering Woods. As I delved deeper, The atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. The trees seemed to close in around me, their gnarled branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. It was then that I heard the whispers, soft, indistinct voices carried on the wind. I couldn't make out the words, but they sent a chill down my spine. Hours turned into an eternity as I wandered through the labyrinthine paths of the forest, each step taking me further from the safety of the outside world. The whispers grew louder, and I felt as though I was being watched by unseen eyes. Fear gnawed at my heart, but my curiosity pushed me onward. As night descended, I stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an eerie, unnatural light. In the center of the clearing stood a solitary tree, ancient and gnarled, its roots digging deep into the earth. I approached cautiously, drawn by an irresistible force. At the base of the tree, I discovered a weathered, leather-bound book covered in dust and cobwebs. As I opened it, the whispers grew frantic, their voices merging into a cacophony of terror. The pages were filled with cryptic symbols and chilling illustrations depicting nightmarish creatures and scenes of unspeakable horror. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath me, and the tree's roots came to life, ensnaring my legs. I struggled to break free, but it was futile. The whispers now took on a distinct, malevolent tone, and a figure emerged from the shadows, a being of pure darkness and malice. Its hollow eyes locked onto mine, and it whispered in a voice that echoed through my very soul, "You have trespassed into our realm. You will never leave the Whispering Woods." The creature's cold, skeletal hand reached out to touch me, and I felt a searing pain as it drained the warmth from my body. The whispers grew louder, mingling with my own screams of terror. But just as I felt my consciousness slipping away, a brilliant light erupted from the book I had found. The creature recoiled, hissing in agony, and the roots released their grip on me. I managed to crawl away, clutching the book tightly to my chest. As I stumbled out of the Whispering Woods, I glanced back one last time. The forest had fallen into an eerie stillness, and the whispers had ceased. The book I held was now my only link to that dreadful place, a sinister reminder of the horrors that lurked within. I returned to the village, forever changed by my encounter in the Whispering Woods. The book remained locked away, its secrets hidden from the world, a testament to the chilling encounter that still haunted my nightmares. The woods had whispered their warning, and I would never forget the price of my curiosity, nor the sinister entity that dwelled within those ancient, haunted trees. Years passed, and the memory of that fateful day began to fade. I had settled into a quiet life in the village, but I couldn't shake the feeling that the Whispering Woods still held secrets waiting to be discovered. The book, with its cryptic symbols and nightmarish illustrations, called to me like a siren's song, tempting me to unlock its mysteries. One stormy night, as lightning streaked across the sky and thunder shook the earth, I couldn't resist the pull any longer. I retrieved the book from its hiding place and began to decipher its cryptic pages. It was a tome of forbidden knowledge, a guide to dark rituals and unspeakable power. I spent months studying the book, delving deeper into its secrets. The whispers returned, this time more insistent, guiding me further into the depths of the Whispering Woods. I followed their eerie guidance, unraveling the ancient mysteries of the forest and the malevolent entity that dwelled within. As I delved deeper into the heart of the Whispering Woods, I uncovered the truth, a truth so horrifying that it shook me to my core. The entity that had tormented me all those years ago was not a single malevolent spirit, but a collective consciousness of ancient, vengeful souls bound to the forest for eternity. The year was 1878, and I had been appointed as the keeper of the ominous Blackwood Lighthouse that stood proudly on a desolate, rocky promontory off the coast. The lighthouse was a magnificent structure, its towering silhouette casting an imposing shadow over the relentless, unforgiving sea. But it was not its physical grandeur that made it famous. It was the stories whispered among sailors, a haunting legacy that clung to the lighthouse like a curse. From the moment I arrived, I felt an oppressive weight in the air, as if the very stones of the lighthouse held dark secrets. My predecessor, old Captain Thornton, had passed away under mysterious circumstances, and the villagers warned me of the lighthouse's malevolent reputation. But I was a man of science, unafraid of superstition, and I scoffed at their warnings. Days turned into weeks, and my isolation in the lighthouse was palpable. The relentless stormy weather only added to the sense of foreboding. One night, as I ascended the winding staircase to the lantern room, I heard a faint, mournful wail, a sound that sent a shiver down my spine. It was as if the very wind itself carried the anguished cries of the restless souls who had met their fate in these treacherous waters. As I gazed out at the tempestuous sea, a spectral figure materialized before me, a ghostly apparition dressed in tattered, salt-stained garments. Its hollow eyes bore into mine, and its lips moved soundlessly, as if trying to convey a message from beyond the grave. I stumbled back in horror, realizing that the stories of the lighthouse's haunting were not mere tales spun by fearful sailors. Night after night, the apparition returned, its silent pleas becoming more desperate with each visit. I grew increasingly obsessed with unraveling the mystery of the lighthouse's haunting, determined to find a way to appease the tormented soul. I researched the history of the lighthouse, poring over old logbooks and dusty archives, searching for clues. It was during one stormy night, as the lighthouse's beam cut through the inky darkness, that I finally uncovered the truth. The lighthouse had been built atop the ruins of a shipwrecked vessel, and the restless spirit that haunted me was that of Captain Thornton's ill-fated crew. They had perished in a tragic storm, their bodies lost at sea, and their souls condemned to wander the lighthouse in eternal torment. Driven by a sense of duty and compassion, I decided to conduct a solemn ritual to free the trapped souls. With the help of a local priest, we performed the ancient rite, beseeching the spirits to find peace and forgiveness. The lighthouse trembled, and an ethereal light filled the lantern room as the apparitions slowly dissipated, their mournful wails fading into the night. The haunting of Blackwood Lighthouse had come to an end, and I felt a profound sense of relief and closure. The lighthouse stood silent and serene, its once malevolent legacy vanquished by our act of compassion. I continued my duties as the keeper, but the stories of the lighthouse's haunting were no longer whispered among sailors. Instead, it became a symbol of redemption and hope, a beacon of light that guided ships safely through the treacherous waters. In the years that followed, the lighthouse became a symbol of my own redemption, a reminder that even in the face of darkness, there is always a glimmer of light, and that sometimes it takes an act of courage and compassion to banish the ghosts of the past. The haunting legacy of Blackwood Lighthouse had transformed into a tale of triumph over darkness, and I, the keeper of its light, carried its lessons with me for the rest of my days.